Chicago House and Social Service Agency is an incredible institution.
Yes.
It empowers people living with or vulnerable to HIV/AIDS to lead healthy and dignified lives through housing and compassionate, client-centered support services. And joining us now is the CEO of Chicago House, Lindsay Gaskins. Lindsay, welcome to the show.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for taking time out today on a Sunday to join us. We're very happy that you could be here. Can you remind our listeners a little bit about the history and the mission of Chicago House?
Of course. Chicago House has been around for over 40 years. We started as a hospice for gay men dying of HIV. And over the years, we've evolved our services, always with that center core of creating a place of home and belonging for those that need us most. And so we've been in Chicago for now, it's in our 41st year. We have housed 500 folks in our housing, and we serve over 3,000 folks with services in the Chicago area. And the organization was started by those that came and gave a helping hand, and continues to be led and the team is a compassionate, really, human-centric folks out in our communities.
And we thank you so much for it.
So much appreciated.
Yeah, and so you're relatively new in the CEO.
I am.
CEO office right over there. You were board chair of the organization. Then in April, you took over the reins as CEO. What is that? Has to have been a crazy learning curve.
Completely. It was very fortunate for me. I mean, I'm so grateful to be chosen for this role, but fortunate that I did have years of serving on the board,
right,
and understanding how the organization worked and what were the challenges, what were the things that were coming up. And I also got to know the team very well. Michael Herman, the outgoing CEO, is a good friend of mine, and I got to learn from him and the senior team all during this time as serving as on the board. So that was helpful. So I got to kind of jump right into budget season, right into the crazy world we're living in where people are trying to take housing away from folks. So I kind of knew what I was getting myself into.
Well, I know. And also what's also so wonderful about, having knowledge of the organization is that you understood the culture and the ethos of the organization. Like there is a spirit that you knew. You kind of like, oh, I know how this works.
Definitely.
So what is your vision for Chicago House for the next couple of years? I mean, I know right now it is a challenging time. You've got people like cuts to healthcare, taking away housing. I mean, denying, trans rights. There's like the list goes on and on. Go ahead. Sorry. What's your vision?
No. So the work has been so strong for many years, but the demand has continued to grow. So if you even just mentioning, the trans folks in our community, what they've been dealing with in the last 19 months is ridiculous, as we all know.
Yeah.
And we need places like Chicago House to be there to find belonging. We believe there's been a decent amount of migration also to Chicago from that community. So we need to be there to help them get up and going, get jobs, get housing, all those different things. And that's part of why we exist as a nonprofit. So the demand is growing. The funds are not growing, right?
Yeah.
The federal government's trying to take away money from nonprofits who are housing people, we're providing employment services, doing healthcare navigation, which is all the stuff we do. But the demand is growing because of inflation, because of the marginalization, and all the different things that are happening in this city. So I feel really good to be in the ecosystem and to be with other partner organizations talking about how are we going to solve this. But I would say to the greater community, this is the time to step up. If you have funds, if you have the ability to be in that world and provide a monthly donation to an organization that you care about and you think is doing the right work, then do that. And that might be different for every person, but it's a time for all of us in this community to step up because funds are being taken away from by the federal government.
Yeah, well, especially anything that, vaguely mentions diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Exactly.
Which is just first of all, I refuse to call it DEI. I will always say diversity, equity, and inclusion because which one of those don't you like?
Exactly.
Tell me.
And exactly. There's a great book that I read this year as I was coming into this role by Brian Gladstone. I don't know if you're familiar with him. And it was all about the Atlanta system, the homeless prevention system, and how it wasn't working for people then. And it's an anthropological look at people trying to get services in Atlanta. And this is before what we're going through right now. And it was eye-opening to me. And as I think about the future and the vision of Chicago House, I think about how we have to get more and more centered on the participants, the clients of those that need our help. We do this in all other parts of our lives. We design retail operations around how people buy, but we don't really think about social services like we offer in that way. And so sometimes it takes months for people to get a response from even the nonprofits that are trying to do their best because we're all understaffed. How do we really make that system stronger so that when someone raises their hand and says, I need help, they don't have to wait. And so as I think about the vision of Chicago House, not only meeting the demand, ever-changing demand that's going to happen in the city, which I believe is going to hit Black, brown, trans individuals most impactfully, but also it's about how do we respond more rapidly so that it doesn't get harder by having to wait. We actually have a safety net because all of us who have a home understand that we can always go to that home when we're trying to recover. When you don't have a home, what happens then? And so I want people to really understand how important a home is and this idea that everybody deserves a place to live and they deserve a place to belong. In Chicago House, because of our work over the 40 years and our very affirming way that we look at everybody, we give you the pronouns that you think are your pronouns. We talk to them as individuals. We're affirming in all ways. We are a place that they can call home, and then they can start that, have that feel of belonging, and then they can grow. And this is where you get outcomes of people moving out, people getting jobs, people be able to really live dignified lives, as you said in our mission statement.
Yeah, I think so. You said one of the biggest demographics that you're kind of concerned about are Black and brown trans folks. Are there specific services aimed at this community, or are the services more broad?
We have a drop-in service for trans individuals. We have that in 3 parts of the city, so we try to really provide different places because they're not all living in one part of the city for them to drop in and access those services and have a meal, get some, learn something, figure out what they need to do, navigate. We have legal services, help people with changing their names, all of these different things that help people move from where they started to where they're going. So those drop-in services. And then if you just think about our entire population, we provide housing. So some folks that identify as trans come through our housing navigation work, but and some come through our employment work. We have a great program called CHAP, where we are helping people learn about how to become community health workers. And they go through that program. It's free. We provide, snacks and venture cards to get to the in-person events. And then as they graduate that, we're helping navigate them to employment. So there's this whole really concentrated effort to uplift and provide those services throughout our organization. But we do have, and if you look on our website or if you're seeking services for trans specific, you can go into the drop-in, and that is a safer space than you will find in other places.
Yeah, one thing that I love about the work that Chicago House does is the emphasis on community. That's kind of been my word this year of really focusing we need community, and the way that you honor each individual and remind them that they have a community and that they are a part of a community, that is life-changing. right there. So
Exactly.
I want to thank you so much for all of the work that you do, and
Yes.
everyone at Chicago House. If people want to learn a little bit more about the services that you provide and hopefully make a donation, how can they do that?
chicagohouse.org, and we have events, we have a way to do monthly donations, all those different things. But we'd love for you to know who we are because you never know when you might meet somebody who's in need.
Yeah.
So please check us out. You can access our services that way, and we just love to have as many people in our community understand where they can find help.
Well, Lindsay Gaskins, thank you so much for just taking the reins and running with it. This is a daunting challenge, and thank you so much for all that you do for our city and beyond. Lindsay Gaskins, CEO of Chicago House and Social Services Agency. You can go to chicagohouse.org to find out more info about it. Lindsay, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. Have a great day.